Hi, welcome to the first episode of Bullshit Megan's Watch. It's exciting times for me, it's exciting times for you. I've not really had a lot of time to watch any TV this week. Reason being because I've had to be pretty much in this room while my new rescue cat settles into the house. So I wasn't able to have the TV, I basically had Netflix with The Apprentice, basically, series 1 to 3. I maybe even watched 6 at one point. While I was in this room, I just basically watched it on YouTube, which, you know, if you haven't seen The Apprentice, I think it's good. I mean, it's pretty bullshit, but I think it's good. So I've gone on to Facebook for some suggestions. I'm part of a group called Galaxy of Geeks, which if you're not a part of and you enjoy geeky things, you should join it. It's really great. It's really nice, full of nice people. And we've had Seventh Heaven, Boondocks, another one for Seventh Heaven, and Venture Bros. So I went on to Netflix to see if they were on there. And the ones that they'd suggested weren't on Netflix, so I was just kind of looking through TV shows on Netflix. Ugh, I've got something in my eye. And they're promoting this new Netflix original at the moment called, oh god, I can't remember what it's called now. What About the Horse? BoJack Horseman, is it? It's a cartoon, and it's only 20 minutes long, so I thought, well, let's give that a go. So I've got it set up behind the video. I've got Netflix set up to watch it. So I'm going to watch the first episode and I'll come back and I'll do a little review and see what it's like. Okay, see you in a minute. Just finished watching the first episode of BoJack Horseman. I'll be honest, on the face of it, I wasn't really expecting too much. I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised. The reason why I was a bit sort of shaky on it was, I mean, the idea of the show is it's like a washed up TV star who used to be in like a sitcom in kind of the 90s and all in around the kind of time of the Brady Bunch and, you know, like the Fresh Prince and all that kind of like things like that. So that kind of slightly cheesy comedy. But so he was in a show. Bearing in mind this is a horse that we're talking about now. This horse was in a TV show called Horsing Around. And the idea of that show was that he was a horse who adopted 3 kids, and like that was the show. And after the show finished, he's now sort of like a washed up TV star who's like still got like a nice house and stuff, but he's pretty disappointed with the way things turned out. The opening sequence is actually pretty scary. Like, it was a bit weird. So at this stage, I was kind of like, turn it off, but I thought no, keep going. And I'm pretty glad I did, because I found out that the guy who voices BoJack is Will Arnett, which if you don't know that name, or you might know that name but you don't know the face, it's the guy, he was the brother in Arrested Development, so he plays BoJack. And so I was pretty like excited because I thought, well, he's like a funny guy. So, and right at the beginning, the idea of the episode is that he's writing like a memoir of his life, and he's getting this published by Penguin Books. There was a very obvious dig at Penguin Books because like there's like a little penguin who is like the manager of Penguin Books or whatever, and he's saying like they've got no money for electrics and they spent like all their money, you know, funding some book and it was shit or something like that. So I'm sure there's an underlying dig at Penguin Books in there somewhere. The show in itself is very, very Family Guy. It's quite obviously been influenced by Family Guy in as much as there's a lot of cutscenes. Very Scrubs in that kind of way as well. Like set up for jokes and then would cut scene and do that joke and then come back and like sort of 10 minutes before or 10 hours before and have like that scene, that kind of thing. But all in all, I did actually quite like it. I'd watch it again. I wouldn't say it's like the best comedy I've seen in a long time, but it would definitely be worth watching. On the sort of bullshit-o-meter, if we could maybe, right, I'm putting you on the spot here, Tom, but if we could maybe like pop a little bullshit-o-meter here, so what would that be? That would be like really good up there, and bullshit's down here. I'd say it was like there. It's quite good. Like a 3.5 out of 5. Pretty good. So yeah, BoJack Horseman. It's like Netflix are probably going to be putting it on the top thing, you know, where they're like, oh, suggested for you. It's like, oh, you don't say. It's like your new thing, you suggest it for me. So yeah, that was pretty good. Let's see what I'm gonna have a look at next. Okay, so I thought rather than try and find something else that I want to watch, I'd talk about something that I did watch about a week and a half ago now, which I really did like, Bates Motel. It's been out for a little while now. It's basically a prequel to the film Psycho, where they first move into the motel, and it's like a young Norman Bates. Him and his mum first move into the motel even, and it's just about like the period of time between them first moving there and obviously what happens in Psycho. And I spoke to Pickard a little bit about it because I knew that he'd watched it, and we both said, like, on paper, prequel to Psycho, it sounds like the worst thing ever. It sounds like, what the hell are you thinking? You shouldn't make that show. But it's probably one of the best things I've watched in quite a while. Just the acting is just incredible. It's that Freddie Highmore. He was Charlie out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the new one with Johnny Depp, and he's actually grown to be quite a really good actor. He's really good, and his mum is played by, let's have a look on IMDb, Vera Farmiga, and she's like incredible in it. There's this really weird sort of, it starts to show the relationship between him and his mum and how it kind of escalated to what it did in the Psycho film. And there's that real sort of underlying, it doesn't really come out as like an incestuous Oedipus thing. It doesn't sort of like say, yeah, they're in a relationship or anything like that. It just kind of, it shows you that line between this is like a son-mother relationship and just a bit too far. And they do that really, really well. They do that really clever sort of, this makes me feel a bit uneasy. As well as that, it's like so tense. Like there's so many things going on. You're so on edge all the time. So if you're not really into that kind of thing, it's not really for you. But for me, I watched it in the middle of the day, so it didn't really scare me as such. The one thing I would say is that the first episode is very, very dark. There is a rape scene in it, there's a murder scene in it, spoilers. So if that's not really your bag, then either just get sort of like, I'll tell you, if you like say, oh, can you just tell me what happens up until that point, I'll do that, or, you know, have a read on Wikipedia. I'm sure they probably put like, on the internet they'll have like a thing, but if that's not really your thing, then don't watch episode 1, but onwards from that, it doesn't really do anything like that again. It's like they set it up really high and then it kind of goes back down again to sort of a manageable sort of set. Series 1 I watched in a day. I was just absolutely addicted. I had to see the next one. It was like, you know how Netflix like get you in and say like, oh, the next one is, you know, will start in 8 seconds. I couldn't even wait the 8 seconds. I needed to like play now, because it was just such a cliffhangery show. And yeah, I mean, I have been telling pretty much everyone, you've got to watch it, it's so good. But like I say, you know, I think it's absolutely fantastic, but if you're not really into the kind of like dark, you know, tense kind of thing, then it might not be for you. But acting wise, and, you know, if you're into quite like edgy, weird stuff, then it's definitely a good one. So those are the two that I've decided to do this week. So we've had BoJack Horseman, which on the bullshitometer was like a 3.5 around there. But Bates Motel would literally be like right at the top, like just skimming at the top. Was like best thing I've watched in a very long time. If you do have any suggestions of something for me to watch, either you can tweet us at Safehouse Tweets. I haven't got my own, like, you know, bullshit Megan's watched. I mean, I guess you could hashtag it bullshit Megan's watched to Safehouse Tweets and give me a suggestion of what to watch. I'll have a look at the ones that have already been suggested to me to see if we can do them next week. I mean, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. I'm still on the Safehouse thing. If I get my own one, we'll get our own links, I guess. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next week.